Pixar's Soul is about a musician named Joe who works as a part-time music teacher at a middle school, but dreams of being a professional jazz musician. His mother pushes for him to accept the full-time position he's been offered by the school, but Joe has difficulty giving up his ambitions. He's been working for years gigging, and as a freelancer myself, I know how stressful, inconsistent, and emotionally taxing that is. Joe is given the opportunity to meet and audition for famous musician Dorothea Williams. She's impressed by his performance and offers to let him perform in her quartet in that night's show. But when Joe accidentally falls into a manhole, he's transported into a realm where souls must gain personalities before being born on Earth. Joe is mistaken for a mentor and assigned to train 22, a soul who's reluctant to get through her training. Joe may be full of passion and eagerness, but 22 doesn't understand the appeal of life on Earth. Even more so, she is confused by Joe's strong desire to return to Earth since his life has been so difficult. 22 excitedly agrees to give Joe her Earth badge if she passes her training, which would allow him to make it back to his life. This shifts Joe's aim to help 22 complete the last stage of her teaching, finding her personal passion or spark, before missing his performance at night. Fast forward, and Joe finds a way back onto Earth, but 22 falls through and is transported into Joe's human body. Joe ends up in a cat. This is where the film dives deeper into mental health. Soul gives an incredibly accurate portrayal of hopelessness in several characters. Whether it's middle-aged Joe feeling beaten down by losing his golden opportunity, or the young Connie who's ready to quit her passion, Soul perfectly showcases the ups and downs that come with living. One day you might feel happy and energized, but by the next you may feel like existence is more pain than it's worth. It's an incredibly dark discussion, but Soul tackles it in a way that illuminates this human experience without making it feel exclusive to certain personalities. We all struggle and may present that in different ways. 22 initially sees the world as difficult and pointless.
Like, is all this living really worth dying for?
But as she experiences more and more of life, she grows to love the little beauties of it. Soul gives a fresh and much-needed analysis of the struggling artist trope. 22 had thought that finding her spark meant that she needed to find some sort of grand purpose in life, the same way Joe explains that his purpose in life is to become a musician. Joe gets obsessed with this idea of finding success in music. He attributes his worth entirely to that. Before performing with Dorothea, he even tells his mother,
"I'm just afraid that if I died today, that my life would have amounted to nothing."
But Soul explains that the concept of purpose is often misunderstood. Our reason for living and our self-worth should not be in our external successes. It should be for life in the here and now. In the first few minutes of the film, Joe says,
"I would die a happy man if I could perform with Dorothea Williams."
He was completely convinced that achieving that would bring him happiness and contentment with his life. But after he goes through all of the trials and tribulations of the day just to get to live out that opportunity, he faces the tough realization that his life wasn't suddenly changed. Life after achieving what you've worked towards is still life. This leads him to feel lost and confused.
I thought I'd feel different.
There are so many beautiful aspects of the intricacies of life. 22 falls in love with nature, the look of joy on people's faces, and pizza.
It's so good!
When we take a step back from our issues, there's a lot to still find appreciation for. Life is not made up of becoming famous or rich, and that shouldn't be the be-all end-all. Because what happens when you get that job, or you've found fame and things haven't magically changed? You'd have nothing to care about. Joe goes back to the great before to find 22 and give her the pass to Earth. But he discovers that she's become a lost soul who feels her existence is meaningless. Together, they discover that having a spark doesn't mean you need to find a certain purpose. It just means you need to have a willingness to live and take life for what it is, for all the good and all the bad. Soul debunks that toxic mentality of needing to find purpose in life for something ultimately shallow in the grand scheme of the world. True happiness doesn't come with achieving anything other than a willingness to enjoy what life has to offer.